Hey guys, Wages World here. We've got some unexpectedly strong solar storm that hit yesterday and some more solar storming afterwards. We had a very visible sunspot, naked eye sunspot. And yeah, some quakes after the solar storm hit, and yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. So let's do it, guys. Here we go. All right, guys. Yeah. So, what do we got going on today? Well, listen. First off, guys, thank you guys for going back and making sure that one video got over 10,000 views, and it did. So thank you guys, everybody that watched that one. That was so cool. I really appreciate, if you haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. It was a good one. It was a good live stream. We've been doing some pretty decent ones here lately, guys, and it's thanks to you guys. Your guys' criticisms has helped me start to refine my game here a little bit for you, and I really think, and the advice of some good friends of mine, really helping me. So I hope that you guys appreciate the effort and can see the little bit of just the minor changes that are making big difference in what's going on. So with that being said, we will just go ahead and kind of push into this. Now, I'm going to do all the space weather, guys. Okay, so thanks for everything else, and I'll say thanks again after we get through the space weather, okay? Anybody wants to join the memberships, please do. We've been having some good times with that also, and I'll go over that here in just a little bit too. All right, guys, so what you're looking at there is SDO. I'm not going to go into some big, long explanation on where that satellite's at. That's actually one of the criticisms I got. And it's a very good one. I go too much into depth trying to just make sure everybody 100%, every time I go over the same thing over and over again. I'm going to have to kind of slow down on that. And the reason why I went back and watched some of my stuff, and I am repeating myself a lot. And unfortunately, can't really do that. So, yeah. If we keep doing that, people get bored and they click off. But I will explain things in a way everybody understands them, okay? But anyway, this is a satellite that looks at extreme ultraviolet light. It does other things also, and it's basically from our perspective. And it's almost real-time data because it stays over the same part of our planet at all times. But it always keeps its eye on the sun, okay? Like the Lord of the Rings eye, right? So when we're looking at this, we're looking at different gases. And this one here happens to be the 304 angstrom. That's the angstrom of light, and this gas shows up in that, ionized helium. And we look at different gases so we can see different things. It gives us different visuals. So what we're seeing here, again, is ionized helium. And I'm showing you guys this one specifically because we are seeing some significant eruptions. And I'll show you what I mean. They're actually, pretty visual. Now, I'm going to kind of slow this down right there. Okay. You guys see all these appenditures is what I'm going to call them at this point. What this is basically those are magnetic connection lines, and they're filaments pretty much. It's not the same exact, but those are magnetic connection lines, and there's highly charged particles traveling back and forth across that, and it creates what we call solar rain. And that's basically just plasma on a magnetic connection line raining back down to the surface. And we get highly charged particles that just continue to travel back and forth across this thing because of magnetics. All right? So you see a bunch of them. We don't always see the sun looking like this. Now I will say this, I think we're pretty solidly into solar maximum. All right? With that being said, we got 2 or 3 years of this. So this is the way it's going to be. And I want people to really kind of understand that. So, but yeah. So, anyway. Let me try to check out something here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you got them out of there, didn't you? IG, thank you. Yeah, we don't do that spamming stuff. It's just not polite. I typically will let anybody put their website in there if they ask anyway. So if you just come in and start dropping spam in the chat, my mods are going to immediately ban you. That's just something we don't do. It's very rude, by the way. And I would also say this. You're not drawing attention to your channel when you're doing that. you're showing everybody how rude you are, and nobody's going to go watch. So thank you, IG, for getting on top of that. Anyway, so yeah, so when we're looking at this, we're seeing a bunch of just plasma, guys, traveling on this, right, on these lines. Now check this out. There was an eruption up here, and it's pretty photogenic, right? You see that? And that's basically what's going on down here at the same time. This is just on the back side. So we got a lot of stuff going on. The sun's very, very active. Now, a lot of people are going to miss that one too, right? Watch right here. I'm going to back it up just 2 or 3 images, and you're going to see that thing just shoots right out. Wham! Okay? That right there is a CME. Okay, I can't tell if there was a flare with that or not. Most likely there was with an eruption like that. But there might not have been. So what I'm saying here is it almost looks like a splash, like you took a rock and threw it in a big old ball of plasma, right? And just kind of splashed out. That's kind of what that looks like. You can tell it comes from a center point. So that's not a filament release. A filament release, and I want to explain this to you guys because we talk about this often. I'm going to use these this isn't really a filament though, okay? These dark shadows that kind of lay across the sun, this right here is a filament, okay? But these are magnetic connection lines, but for the sake of what I'm trying to explain here, just pretend that that's a filament. Because when they lift off, they look like this. And so when they lift off and erupt out, they break in the middle. And they kind of snap off. So you basically got 2 different base points here on the sun. Now this one came from one single source. You can tell. Right there. See it? So that is not a filament release. That is an eruption on the sun, a CME. So, you know, CMEs and filaments that release are basically a CME. It's plasma getting ejected out into interplanetary space, right? So with that being said, we just have to know the difference because they do take on different properties as they flow out. The filaments that snap in the middle and fling out, they tend to be a little bit wider. And when we get these centralized explosions or eruptions, they tend to act more like a cone, if that makes any sense. Okay? So when it goes out, it's still spreading, but it's going out as a cone. Starts pretty small as far as a centralized point. With the filament, it immediately starts fanning out. And once we start to look at this stuff, you know, it does... what the heck is that? I don't know why that got pinned up there, but okay. I must have pinned it when I was looking at that. Well, he got some free advertisement there, I guess. Anyway, so when we're looking at that, that's exactly what we see, right? Hey, Nikki, thank you. Made it on time. Evening from New Hampshire. Hey, from the East Coast, baby. Oh, yeah, love it. So, what I want to take you guys, I'm going to run you down through the 3 main points of the video here today. And where I want to start is what I just started. I showed you guys that because we had a CME that happened back on the, I believe it was the 14th. And we're going to go look at that, okay? So let me take you guys back to the 14th because I'm pretty sure that's when this one happened. Almost positive, if I'm correct in what I'm saying here. I could be wrong. Yeah, it was on the 14th. Remember me showing you guys this halo eruption? This is on a different satellite, right? This is on SOHO. Again, it's from our perspective. It's as if you guys went outside and looked up at the sun. It really is, okay? This satellite's 1 million miles closer to the sun, but all you really have to know is this from our point of view. Unless you get into detailed stuff like what I have to do to bring you guys this information. If you guys are just wanting the information, I'm just going to give it to you like that. And if you guys want to dive into it, I'm going to start making smaller videos to explain where these satellites are, and I'll just point everybody to those videos so they can, you know, have a reference there, and I don't have to keep repeating. So just understand that. That's kind of what I'm getting ready. I'm trying to get that done. So, but this is called a halo. This is a physical disk on the actual imager. So we don't know what's behind it. So when we see energy popping around the full circle around it, it looks like a halo. So we call that a halo eruption. I'm not worried about this one. This one's actually going way off to our 90 degrees to our right. That's not hitting us at all. It did not give us a radiation storm. Sometimes they do when they blow off this direction because it crosses our connection to the sun. And our connection, magnetic connection to the sun, it will pick up protons from those sometimes. And then it'll give us radiation storms. At least an increase in the proton flux. Now, until we get to like a level 2 or a level 3 radiation storm, it's not even a big deal to us anyway. Most people don't even know when a radiation storm's going on. So, but that's what we're doing. We're trying to bring awareness to some of that. But anyway, you get this, and this popped off on the 14th. Well, this thing kind of arrived a little bit sooner, I think, than what they thought it was going to. And so let me explain what I'm saying here. If you guys see this right here, this was a G3 storm. First off, they were forecasting it to be a G1. And probably the main reason was because of the speed that they thought it was traveling. This is the CME that they had forecasted us to start to hit like 3, 6, 9, almost 12 hours later. So it arrived outside of even their window of forecasting, the window that they give themselves of being correct on their forecast. Plus or minus 7 hours, one direction or the other. It's even outside of that. So they missed that forecast a little bit, which is okay. I'm not saying anything about that. What I'm saying is it arrived early, and that matters. It matters big time. Because that means that CME was traveling faster, which means it's going to hit us harder. Oh, thank you, 5G, for the gifted memberships. Whoever got those, guys, please tell 5G thanks for that. I 100% appreciate that. Thank you, 5G. I'll say thanks properly here in just a little while. We're going to get through the info here. I'm trying to do things a little different. I'm sure you guys know that. I've been trying to make you guys see what I'm trying to do here. So I still want to show my appreciation, and I will. I'm not going to let somebody, just because they don't want to hear me say thanks, I'm never not going to say thanks. So just know that. So thank you again, and I'll say thanks properly here in just a few minutes. But anyway, as we are looking at this, what I want to point out is the fact that we dipped back down and went back up. Now, what I'm saying about that is the fact that I know we can't see the 18th here, right? Because we're past that on their forecasting. But that's exactly what their forecast looked like just about 12 hours later. But it was a 5 and a 5. It wasn't a 7 and a 5. So the first one ended up being a little bit stronger of a hit because it got here quicker. So we can look at that data, and I'm going to show you guys that just very, very quickly because, you know, charts and stuff are very boring. I get it. So when we're looking at this is a 3-day data run. Okay, I usually show you the 1 day, but we're too far. I can't just show you 1 day because we wouldn't be able to see it. So here's the BZ. Just know that you have to have a -6 on the BZ. Okay, -6 is this red line. If that red line gets to a -6, that means we'll suck in solar weather a lot more, right? So with that being said, obviously that's what happened here. So our BZ was acceptable to any kind of solar storming that was going to hit. And then if you go down here and see what the actual the solar wind conditions and the space weather conditions, I guess if you want to put that up there in that kind of wording, we come down here and we look at the density, which is in orange, and then we look at the purple, which is in the speed. Okay, so if you see what happened when everything started moving, so we knew we were getting hit, right? That's a clear indication that something's happening with space weather. Something's hitting our magnetic field. All right, and we're starting to react to it. So you can see how it kind of hit here, and then look how high our density went. All right, that's a very significant jump. Okay, 61 is high density, guys. It really is. And then to couple in almost 500 on the kilometer per second, as far as the speed, that's significant also. Now, 3 to 500 is what we would consider like ambient speed, solar wind speed. But we were on the higher end of that, and then you throw the density up that high, and we were in a magnetic positioning to really draw it all in. That's what made us go to a G3. And it went G3 immediately. Now, what I mean by G3, KP index is the indice that we use to measure geomagnetic activity. Okay? Basically, the storm level. That's the indice we use. So what happens is at a 5, it's a G1 storm, so on and so forth as we go up, just like a thunderstorm warning system. We got to a G3. Now, these are 3-hour data points. Okay, it's an average of 3 hours of data. So if you take that and that's what you got. A 7, it says 7 negative, right? Basically, the average came in just a little under 7, but it was close enough to call it a G3. All right. Now, this is the HP. It's a 30-minute data point. It's the same indice. Okay. Now, this is today. Notice that we didn't get into storm level today. Here. Right? 24-hour maximums. Nothing. Right here. Right? But if we come here, you can see that we actually did hit G1 storm levels twice in the 30-minute averages. But if you were to put that in a 3-hour block, it would bring it down lower that we didn't. Now, that is splitting hairs at this point. Okay, I get that. But I want to point this out because it matters right here. Back here, this day, right here, this is when the G3 hit. That block of time right there. This yellow line, right? So we popped over G3 levels right there. And we stayed there for a good amount of time, an hour and a half. We really did. We went there pretty good like, and we stayed at G2, down to G1, G2, I mean back and forth for a good amount of time. Now this back here, guys, is the G4 that was actually stronger than what they thought was going to hit also. So it seems to be a pattern that we're seeing here, and I know that I've talked about this already. A lot of us are, and I was included in on that, we were under forecasting these things, and I don't forecast things anyway, but I was underestimating what I even thought the storms were going to be. And I've talked ad nauseum on why that is. I'm not going to have a big discussion about it tonight because it's just not relevant. But the fact of the matter is, that's what's been happening. It's happened multiple times this year, this sun cycle, that's happened. So we have to understand that, you know, we need to start adapting here a little bit and start understanding that maybe things are hitting a little harder. And it's just hard for people because somebody like me, I don't want to come out and overplay something, right? Because if I do that over and over and over again, what happens? Then my word becomes nothing. People don't pay attention. It's like getting a tornado warning 25 times and no tornado comes through your town. And then the 26th time, oh my gosh, here comes an F5, but nobody pays attention because you had already said it 25 other times and nothing happened. That's why it's important not to issue warnings for tornadoes and what we're talking about here unless that's actually what's going on. And that's why we need to make sure that we're doing our best and doing our due diligence not to overplay things. But what I'm starting to understand is we might be underplaying things too much also. So it's a hard line to walk, but that's what we have to do. So please have some patience with us there on that. I am doing my best on that, but you know. Hey Kay, love space news. What better way to get it here? Well, thank you, Kay. You're awesome. Thank you for the donated memberships also you did the other day. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. We need to highlight that message real quick. I do want to highlight these messages and put them in there like this. I hope you guys like that. I think it adds a little something to the stream, and I don't have to like concentrate on it as much. Okay, so that's what happened. That's historically what happened yesterday. Okay, I didn't have a chance to do a live stream yesterday. I was keeping a close eye on it, and I seen that happen. And I was actually not home when that happened, and I almost did a short little video right then and there, but I waited because I seen it start to drop right away. And I thought, well, this isn't something I have to jump right out here and say, right? So, and most of the stuff that I do is that way, guys, so remember that. I try to exercise as much patience as I can. And I'm getting better at that, and I do succeed quite often in waiting long enough. I don't want to jump out here again overplay something, right? And that's the whole goal. So this is the Magnetopause model, and this right here, I'm going to pause it. This is the Australian model. Shout out to my Aussies. Anyway, I love my Australian people. I really do. But this is a very simple model, and I say that in the highest respect because I really do respect the simplicity of this thing. It gives you all the stuff you need to see in a very, very simple way to see it. Now, there are times that we want to see, let me get to it, this one, right? This is the same data, just in a different visual. Okay, so if I push play here, what do we see here, right? We're going to see something different visually, but it's representing the same thing as this simple model is. So what do we have here? This is our bow shock, okay? Let me take this over here, okay? And this is our bow shock. So you see how things kind of go back and forth here? The sun's off to the left, and this line here, the bow shock, is nothing more than the first point of contact from space weather and our magnetic field. Typically weather from the sun, all right? That's 99% of the space weather we get. The sun is the most influential thing in our lives, and a lot of people don't even realize it. And it really needs to be realized because it can have very great, awesome, positive effects, which is mainly what we see, but it can have grand, and I'm talking humongous, significant effects on the other end. Okay? So, and typically the sun walks the average line. Okay? It gives us what we need. Sometimes we'll get stronger, sometimes we'll get weaker. I've not, the last big one we've seen, I guess, was like power outages, would probably be, it was the 2003 Halloween storm. I'm talking like mass power outages. Now I know that we could talk about the 1989 Canadian blackout. That definitely was a power outage. Okay. But with that being said, just understand that that's what's going on here. So we're going to watch this. This is back on the 17th. I'm going to push play. And what you're going to see this thing, this bow shock, just get just banged on, and it's going to sit there and ring like a tuning fork. Okay? Also, here's your protons. That's your density, right? The same thing I showed you guys over, where did I put it? Here. It's the same orange line. You're going to get the same data. So that's what I'm saying. And then you get the speed, which is up here. And then right here is the VZ. That is the red line I talk about all the time. Okay? So, yeah. So let me play this. Oops. Okay, we'll go back here. So watch what this thing does. See that thing just bouncing already? Now watch what happens. We'll get compression when we start getting hit, and then we'll get rapid expansion. You see how that thing just boop, boop, almost into our satellite line? Now watch as the density goes up. You see our bow shocks start to bend in? That's a good constant, just like hit. That's just so, it's continuous, right? So that's definitely a CME. So I'll just leave it at that. You guys seen that? That's what happened during that. So I don't, there's really not a whole lot more to show you on that specific event. This one here is not on the 17th. This is actually on the 18th. Okay, so we did get some space weather here on the 18th. Now, if we go back and look at the data on the 18th, starting about right here, right? Our density and stuff was still high, but if we come over here, we didn't see any geomagnetic storming. Okay, the only storming we seen, we could see it here on the HP, right? We see for about a half hour, we got to a G1. So, those aren't really significant enough to really, make a big deal about. It's just not. It's space weather news. It's worthy of talking about, but it's not worthy of just like, hey, guys, pay attention, that kind of thing, right? This right here is our geoelectric model, geoelectric field model, I guess you could call it. That might be what they do call it, yeah. Geoelectric field model. It's our geoelectric field at the surface. Okay, what this is trying to show us is space weather's effect on our geoelectric field and unnatural electrical components. Okay, the unnatural electrical components would consist of everything that you could think of. Wires in your wall switches, your car batteries, transformers, substations, anything that isn't spit out by nature. Okay, it literally is that simple to explain. They're doing this to kind of bridge a gap between space weather forecasting, or they're using space weather as a data point to try to understand how it plays into earthquake forecasting. Right? So all three of these agencies are working together. The Natural Resources of Canada just got added on like last year. It used to stop up here at the lower 48. Now, unfortunately, we don't have this for the rest of the world. Okay, this is stopping right here. I've been showing you guys this particular model for, gosh, 2 years now. Back when it was still in beta and only about half of it was working. Okay, so I've been showing you guys this and explaining to you guys what this actually is. Now, again, this is just today. Last 24 hours here. And we're not going to see a whole lot of movement on this thing, so I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time. But I show you guys this for one reason. I want you guys to see that space weather does affect the geoelectric field, because the time matches up perfectly, right? It just does. Space weather directly affects geoelectric. Geomagnetic affects geoelectric and vice versa. So as I keep moving through here, guys, you can see it kind of just start closer to our poles. Why? Because geomagnetic comes in easier on our poles. That's why you see the geoelectric react this way from the poles down. Okay? So anyway, you can kind of see how that's happening. We did take a little bit of a right, if I remember correctly, right there. Okay? That was a little bit of an uptick right at the beginning of the day. But if I was to show you this during that G4 storm, that would definitely be, guys, just ban that, okay? Don't even delete it, just ban it, hide the account. I'm not gonna put up with that stuff. That stuff is ridiculous. It's so rude. It truly is. That's one thing that does tick me off. Just so you guys know. Anybody that's been here for any length of time, if somebody asks me, hey, or ask one of my mods, hey, can I drop the link to my channel, and just so people can see it, know that I have a channel I'm trying to start out, that kind of thing. Almost 99% of the time, the answer is going to be yes. But don't come up here and assume nothing. That's ridiculous. Because that's like me putting a stamp on something I had no choice in. You're not going to do that to me, and you're not going to do that to my people here. So quit. Whoever that is, just get them out of here. Sorry, I know I don't usually talk like that, but that really does upset me. So, and yeah. And typically I don't even give it attention, and most of you guys know that. My mods are handling it, but that's enough. So anyway. Okay, so I talked about this because I want to show you guys some things here real quick. I do want to take you guys over here to HelioViewer, and I'm going to show you guys I believe, I'm not sure if it was this sunspot. I think it was. This is the one that was the naked eye sunspot. Now, this one's going to be too. And this actually could be the one that they seen. I'm not sure. We got to take into consideration field rotation when we're looking at the sun. When we look at these sun images, they put them vertical, right? They're always vertical to us. But there's something called field rotation, and that's why we see star trails also. When we look, during long exposures, I think most of us have seen these pictures of just the circles. Almost looks like just a bunch of stars getting swirled around, looking straight up in the sky. Well, from our perspective, things will look as if they move, like this, like the sun's rolling, right? That's called field rotation. Everything in the sky does it. So, just so you know, it's not moving, we are. Okay? We're the ones rotating. Just so you know. Now, I will say this. When I'm going to come over here to spaceweather.com because that's where I seen this story. Shout out to Dr. Tony Phillips. There's that spot. That's a naked eye sunspot. That's one of these spots, and I'm trying to figure out by its location which one it is. It's hard to tell. It could be either one of these. I think it's this one. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's go. I bet Dr. Tony Phillips has probably got it over here. Okay. AR 3784 is the number. So it's this one. It is the one up here on the top right. See how this is vertical? They can't show you the sun by your latitude position, because they would have to do that for each individual one of us. That's impossible to do. So they choose to keep it vertical like that so we understand what we're looking at. It doesn't mean that if you walk outside and look up, that sunspot's going to be exactly right there. Most likely it's not, because of field rotation. It's going to be in a different position, depending on what time of day, what time of year, all that kind of stuff. Right? Your latitude determines how much rotation you see. So anyway, let's go back to the helio viewer here. That sunspot right there is the one that they are seeing with the naked eye. Right there. I just think it's pretty cool. You know, if you guys can go outside, you can use your, if you still have them, your eclipse glasses to look at the sun. If you guys do this, you guys can go outside and look at that sunspot yourself. No matter what time of day it is. If you put them glasses on and they've got enough protection there, if you bought the right kind, I'm not suggesting anything else. Make sure you got the right kind so you ain't going to damage yourself. You know, we only get two eyes. Well, you know, when we're going around this planet here, guys, we only get two eyes, one shot at it. So don't go destroying it by looking at a sunspot if you ain't got the right protection. But that right there, you could go out in your yard and look up and see it tomorrow if you got those glasses. So just know that. It's a naked eye. You don't have to have any equipment or nothing. No binoculars, no telescope. You could actually put those, put the eclipse glasses. You could pop the lens out and tape it to your phone right in front of the lens, and you could take video of it. That's what I did for the eclipse. So yeah. Now, so with that being said, that's a big sunspot, and guess what? I would have to say that this one is probably the same thing going to happen. They're about the same size right now. So if I kind of come over here, well, I have to, right there. Okay. So with that being said, we'll go back over here to helio viewer. Now I want to show you guys exactly what kind of size we're talking about here. Okay. This is Earth scale. This is 2 scale. So if we got here, what do we got? Boom. Fits at least one Earth right in the core. Now the sunspot itself, you could probably get 3 Earths horizontally together. This sunspot here, the core of it, looks bigger than this as of right now. So, you know, and that could be the case. Could very well be the case. It most likely is. Now we can actually even look at the, we could change it to a scale. That's 88,000 kilometers. Now, if you guys have any idea what that regulates into the size of the Earth, I'm not going to get into all the measurements exact there. I just think it's better to show this one because everybody could kind of just get a general representation in their mind of the scale of what we're looking at. Okay? Remember, the sun is 93 million miles away. So for something to show up that big and be able to see it is amazing to me. And I would hope that people could take some sense of humbleness when they see that. How, you know, we're very significant, but we're insignificant all at the same time. We got to be humble, guys. I mean, just look at this. Should humble people. Really, truly should. But, okay. So what I want to do here is I'm going to take you to the most up-to-date SDO image from today. And that's the 94 angstrom. I'm not going to show you that. I'm going to show you the 211 because we can see coronal holes really well, right? And I've been talking about coronal holes here the past week. And what did I say about coronal holes? Every time we have these coronal holes, we see a what? An uptick in seismic activity. What did we see? And I want to point, I'm going to pile something else onto this conversation too. Okay? This. If we come back here and we look at when this hit, and we time this out, right? What time did that happen? 8:17 at about what? 1300 UTC, right? And just a few hours later, what did we see? Right here. 7.0 quake. Now, I'm not saying that CME caused this, okay? I'm saying that there is a aspect of space weather that is part of the formula that could cause earthquakes. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think anybody else is actually saying, hey, just one hard hit from the sun's going to cause an earthquake. I don't think I've heard anybody ever say that. All I'm saying is that we need to pay attention when we see these coronal holes, because every time you can see it in the data, it's very clear. Now, we don't completely understand it all, okay? Nobody does. Now, we got some good ideas, and people are getting really good at understanding that. I'm not one of them as far as being able to forecast anything, and I'm not going to try. I just can't. So I'm in the same boat with you guys. I will rely on those guys that are smarter than me when it comes to this. And, you know, Deep Quake's in here. Deep Quake Paul. Guys, let me tell you guys something. He's a very intelligent person, and obviously look at his name. Okay? So he knows some Quake information. All right? And I would imagine he's probably going to agree with me, because I've not even asked him, but the coronal holes, we definitely see an uptick. Also, go check out Ron over at Emergency Management Associates. IG's over there all the time. She's one of the top mods over there. Got Isaiah's granny. That's what I call her IG for short. But yeah, and I appreciate all you guys. And here's the thing. I can't forecast this stuff. All I can do is show you, hey, we got coronal holes, which, what's the coronal hole? It's just an opening in the atmosphere of the sun. It exposes the surface. Highly charged particles flow out, and they come at us. They hit us. Now, I don't know why they influence earthquakes. I don't know what the actual technical reason for it is. But I do know that we see an uptick in seismic activity, volcanic eruptions, all that stuff, when we have Earth-facing coronal holes. You'll often hear me say, hey guys, pay attention to earthquakes this week because we got coronal holes. I'm not the only one that says that. Okay? There's people that are on a way higher pay grade than I'm at that say the same thing. But I can't tell you why exactly that is the case. I can just show you, hey, this is the conditions, and this is what we need to look for. And I'm talking specifically about the earthquake conversation here. So also, we had a volcanic eruption too. I can't remember exactly where it was at, but I know we had a significant volcanic eruption hours after. It was just hours after this earthquake. So, and also we need to also keep in mind, they had issued down here in Japan the first ever mega quake watch or warning. I can't remember exactly. They canceled it about a day or two before this happened. So I don't know what kind of forecasting tools and stuff that they're using. Obviously, they've gotten it way more than I could ever pretend to have. But hey, Flaming Jackson, good to see you, brother. Trinity! Butterflies in the house, too. Love you, Flaming. Love you, Flaming. I ain't had a chance to say that in a while. Guys, that man loves everybody, and he means it, too. And I'm not just saying that. So, anyway, I just wanted to point out that, okay? We need to pay attention because it happens every time we have coronal holes. We see an uptick. It's just undeniable. Now, I can't tell you exactly why. I can't. I just don't have that ability to do so. I don't have the knowledge. I wouldn't be able to do it in any kind of sorted, intelligent way. Anything. So I don't do it. Other people might try even when they shouldn't be. And I won't do that to you guys. I've done that when I first started my channel, and I learned that that's just not the way to do things. I started affecting things in a negative way, so I quit. I quit that. Quit doing that. So, all right, guys, give me a roll call in there if you could. And we are going to, as you guys are giving me a roll call in there, I do want to say thanks to the 5 gifted memberships from 5G. Thank you so much again. Guys, we're going to be doing a members only stream here this coming week. Also, guys, I wanted you guys to understand I just did all that space weather at the beginning, right? Hopefully you guys like it that way, because that's probably how I'm going to continue to do it. And the reason why, I want to respect everybody's time, okay? And I'm trying to cut all the repetitive stuff and all that stuff out. And I've said this before, but I'm doing it now in a way that I can see that things are going in a better direction. So I just want you guys to understand that. So give me a roll call in there if you could while I pull up some other stuff here. I do want to show you guys, I do want to give you guys an Aurora update also. And we're going to go over here to spaceweather.com for that. And we'll talk about that. Northern Utah, baby. What's up, Surgery? Good to see you, brother. Nikki, what's up, New Hampshire? Yes, you left the message there earlier. Red Wine, what's up? East Texas. Virginia's in Indiana, baby. That's right. Trinity, you're awesome, by the way. Stephanie, what's up? What's up? What's up? See here, thanks. Western New York, what's happening? Jim Dawson, Georgetown, Kentucky, baby. West Texas, Kelly, what's happening? James Blatterman, Southern California. Cindy Lou, what's happening? Irving Peter Paul, New Brunswick, Canada. Oh, awesome. Love my Canucks. If Axe and Nacho are in here, guys, you guys really, Southern California IG, what's up, girl? You guys really need to get over and check out Axe and Nacho's channel. They do a really good job up there. They go, I think they're doing it twice a week now. They might do it 3 times, but it's awesome. You just got to go check it out. It's great music. It's great fun. It truly is. They're just awesome people. Their shorts are funny also, so please go check it out. And get over and check out Trinity's channel. Please. Please, please, please get over and check out Trinity's channel. She just does a killer job. All right. Southern Ohio, New Jersey, my brother from another mother. Heck yeah. All right, yeah. right, Trinity? I mean, honestly. Okay, so, guys, we got this right here, and unfortunately, I'm just going to say this straight up, right up off the bat. The G3 storm hit at a time and was not long enough that, and I'll explain to you why here in just a second, that all the awesome aurora we could have seen from it, most of us didn't get to see, and neither did the photographers. And it was all about the timing, okay? But this is afterglow. It's like the tail end of a geomagnetic storm, and you're kind of seeing it there, okay? Also, I had somebody comment on orange aurora again, and I was trying to talk to him in the comment section, and we'll address that later on. But just to give you guys a little bit of a clarification on what I was saying, as far as why we shouldn't be seeing certain colors here, there, and everywhere, and why we do, and all of these things kind of come into play. Yes, I know we cannot make every color with red, green, and blue, right? When I was talking about being able to make all the colors, no matter what they are, if you use a process called true process printing, I was speaking of printing also, and it doesn't always apply. It's CMYK. That's cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay? Those 4 colors, if you put them down in certain strengths, in certain, I guess, quantities, at certain, I don't know, how can I put this? Certain pressures. It's different when you're talking about putting it on like a substrate, like a bolt. You can layer those, okay? And the more layers you're able to have, the more colors you can make. You can achieve every color in the rainbow with true process printing, CMYK. Okay? So when I was talking about the Aurora, when you look up, the substrate's actually the atmosphere. The substrate basically is what it's sitting on. So when you go to the grocery store and you grab a food container, right, the substrate's the bowl itself. So the light actually passes through the ink, bounces back, and that's what your eye sees. It goes through the ink, hits the substrate, back through the ink to your eyes. That's what you see. Okay? So, and I know that this isn't going to matter to a whole lot of people, but I do want to clarify that there's, yes, you can achieve every color when you're doing that printing process. And so when you're looking up at Aurora, how does that apply? Well, yesterday, guys, when we were talking about, or 2 days ago, about the orange Aurora, remember I said if you've got green and you got red underneath it, and the atmosphere itself is the substrate, you've only got 2 layers. So when those are kind of mixing together and you're looking straight up, and if one layer is more transparent than the other, all that stuff matters. So there are conditions where we can see these things. But if you were to pick molecules, this is where the conversation kind of set the tone. Is the fact that particular molecules that can produce that orange color. Remember, we're talking about molecules producing color, not a color getting laid together to make another color. So if you take 2 nitrogen, 2 oxygen, I'm not going to get into the formula there. Anyway, the orange that it could produce with that kind of a molecule would typically get drowned out by the other colors it's creating at the same time. That's why things were so, hey, orange is really rare. That's why. Now, if you've got a solid layer of green and you've got a solid layer of red and you're looking straight up, it may appear to your eyeballs to be orange. They may not be mixing at all. So that's kind of what I'm saying. All right? So, anyway, that's what I'll say. Now, when I'm talking about, like, I worked in printing for 20 years, and that kind of a substrate, the lighting matters. We had things called light boxes, and we would take the parts over to the light box when we were setting up a newer job, and we had to make like a standard for it. Basically, a standard is something that you try to replicate each time you run that particular artwork. Okay? It had 4 or 5 different types of lighting. You had daylight, you had grocery store lighting, you had, I forget what the other one was. There was a couple other ones, but we would typically use just the lighting you would see in the grocery store, because that's where people were buying them at. That's what we used. It's because it applied to what we were doing. But the lighting matters. It's amazing how much that can change what you're actually seeing as far as the shade of a color. So, yeah. And again, guys, I worked in that field for 20 years. I understand how the printing process works at a pretty high level. I'm not saying that it directly applies to Aurora and stuff like that, because it doesn't directly. It's just you can take a lot of those same characteristics and move it over, and you could kind of talk about it in the way. And like I said, I just told you one difference is that the substrate. You don't have a solid substrate. You're actually got the atmosphere as your substrate. You don't have a piece of plastic. That's what I'm trying to say. So there is things that kind of go back and forth, and then there's things that don't apply to one another. You just got to kind of keep it in mind when you're talking about that. So I will just say that. Now, at the end of the day, orange Aurora are rare. That's simple as that. It just simply is. Should we see orange Aurora? That's where the conversation comes into. And obviously, if we do see them, if we do see orange Aurora, and we have, then there's got to be a reason for it. That's what we all need to be focused on. You know what I mean? And that's why I try to bring other things as just ideas for people to have a little bit of an understanding that, hey, maybe we could look at this. This might give us a little clue on what's going on. And there's a lot. Let me tell you something, guys. The people that talk about this on a high level are way above what I know, okay? I'm not an Aurora expert at all. Not even close. I just understand color. That's it. So, anyway. Okay. So, alright, guys. That's pretty much all I got for you. Guys, we will be doing a members only this week. Okay, we're going to be looking at some more Zoom Court. As a matter of fact, let me do this real quick. I just understand color. Hey, did you hear him? He said he understood color. I'm going to do this. Let's do this. Let's go over here to my channel. We'll go down here to Jessica's channel. I want to show you guys Jessica's channel because I want you guys to go over and check it out. It's a very, very cool thing. Jessica Bailey Hassan. It's Zoom Court. And I talked about this at nauseum, but here's her channel. If you guys could do me a favor, go over and check it out. Leave her a couple comments. And let her know, hey, because she's given me permission to show her videos in my members only streams. Okay? So here is her link. I just posted it in the chat there. All right? But yeah. So let's keep on going down here. We will highlight that, and it's right there. It should pop up on your screen there too. I put it in the chat there, guys. If you guys would please put that in there. Thank you, miss. Appreciate you. Hey, Renee, thank you. All my mods, I love all you guys. I truly do. But please come over here and check out these channels. These Zoom Court channels. They're very interesting, and you'll get a better understanding of our court system. You will. This Zoom Court thing is a good thing, I think, in an overall aspect, I should say. But we have a good time, and I try not to get into the very serious stuff that they talk about. You know, like when people are losing their kids and that kind of thing. I don't want to do all that. I want to try to keep it light and all, and all of that. So, yeah, I think I mentioned to you guys one of the stories where the guy was, he actually had a surgery and had his balls cut off. And, I'm not kidding. And when he moved out, his partner he kept his balls in that freezer where he lived. His partner threw them out. I'm not kidding. And he took him to court to try to figure it out and try to get his own balls back. I'm not even lying, guys. It's a fact. You guys could come over here. You could probably Google it or YouTube it right here in the search. You'll find it. It's there. Almost every court channel covered it. It was, I just don't even know what to say. It was shockingly like, what is going on? But anyway, I love all you guys. And yeah, yes, Dillards, 100%. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, I know, Butterfly. Ain't that funny? Yeah, and see here, thing, I'm not kidding you. I don't know why you would want to keep them. Number one. Number two, yeah, I know. It's totally, I get it, Kathy. I'm just saying. The guy takes his partner, his ex-partner, to court to try to get his own balls back. It's crazy. It's freaking nuts. But yeah. It's freaking nuts. That's all I gotta say. There you go, Deep Quake. I'm with you. I am with you. Hey, Carla. Yeah, TMI. For sure. For sure, Carla Max 100. I'm with you. But anyway, I told you guys that because I try to keep things a little lighter on the members only stuff. I'm not going to get into somebody like, I mean, you can see this right here. It says petty mom tries to regain full custody to force kid to what? To play football. It's, you know, yeah, we might watch a video like that, right? Just to kind of see what's going on. But I have no desire to watch somebody's family just get broke apart. It sucks. I hate it. So I try to watch other things, is what I'm trying to say. Now, family law can actually be positive too. It could be people getting their kids back after they went through a hard time. That's pretty inspiring, actually. I've seen quite a few of those. So, but both sides of it need reported, and Jessica's doing an awesome job over here at it. And she's not the only one. There's a bunch of them. We're right here, Law Talk with Mike. He's a good dude. Lawyer You Know, that's another guy I watch. Again, guys, my subscription list is there. You guys can go look at what I watch, most of the time anyway. So, all right, guys, I am going to go ahead and pop off. Thank you guys for being here. We'll do another stream tomorrow, obviously. And so, did he get his balls back? No, he didn't, Ricky. His partner threw him away. So he was trying to get monetary retribution for him. And I'm not even kidding. Anyway, I'm just going to keep moving. I love all you guys. And again, guys, we'll be doing a members only sometime this week. And we'll probably be watching another couple 10, 20-minute Zoom court hearings. I'm going to be giving away some cards. Tomorrow, I may give away a membership here in the main stream. Okay? So, just so you know. All right, guys. God bless. Yahusha saves. And as always, you can drink this Kool-Aid.